Guys, let's go to work, guys. Facebook, guys. Namaste. God bless. How are all of you? Happy Wednesday. Maha. Make America happy again. That's going to be my little slogan here for America's Mentor. And if I asked you guys, if I held a survey, which I might do one day, hold a survey, what would truly make you happy? I can only imagine. I can only imagine the answers from that. But what they have been telling us for literally forever, I can go back even beyond Scripture. I mean, thousands of years they've been telling us to not conform to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay, that's fine. There's another article in Scripture, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This is not Bible study. This is about Maha. This is about making yourself happy. The question is, how do you make yourself happy? You really can't make yourself happy. You can be happy. But okay, fine. How do you be happy? Authenticity. I can say it again. Authenticity. I mean, the people that I've interviewed throughout the years, the rock stars and all these people, notables, and granted, I wasn't doing it for notoriety. I was doing it for research. I wanted to know what the hell did. It said very humbly, every single one of them, from the guy, the one-armed baseball player from the Yankees. I can't think of his name right now that I interviewed. I mean, he pitched a no-hitter with one arm in the major leagues, mind you. And spoke to him as he was riding on his cell phone going to Walmart shopping, so humbly explaining to me that all he was doing was just doing what he loved, but he was just being authentic. In other words, he wouldn't conform to what the world was telling him. Can't do this, can't do that. And being brought up in the family that I was, the Italian side of the family, not the PR side, but the Italian side of the family was to adapt, no matter what. Adapt. If you don't like it, too bad. Adapt. That's the problem. We've been taught how to adapt to something that we don't like, and we wonder why we lose it sometimes because we don't realize. Because remember this word or these two words, we've made an emotional home of something that we are not. If you're not being your true self, it may sound repetitive and even redundant, but if you're not being your true self, there's no way in hell you can be happy, because you made an emotional home of somebody else's beliefs and their isms and their habits and their religions and all these things in life that you just doesn't really fit in. You're not, they call us the black sheep. That means everybody's a black sheep. That means every single one of us, we're going against the grain per se. I can see it now. It's all over the internet. I mean, science about the mind and how it works is everywhere. You guys are not limited by this stuff. I mean, I'm blessed to have my audience on many platforms sharing this information, as well as hundreds of thousands of others now who are jumping on the bandwagon of Maha and making America happy again. But indeed, making yourself happy requires authenticity. Just being yourself, your authentic true self. As Scripture said, do not conform to the world. I mean, why were they telling us thousands of years ago, don't conform, just adapt? Why would you want to adapt to something that you don't want to do? That's called divorce in relationships, which the majority of us have went through, because we thought, we just got to stick it out. No, it just doesn't work. If you can't be yourself, and I'm going to show you from a scientific level, if you can't be yourself, you're going to attract that opposite. You don't want that in your life, because it's going to resonate. It's going to bubble up in your life, and you're not going to be happy in the end. It's only when you become your true, authentic self that life starts to mold around that. Whatever you choose in life, life molds around, which is great. You're not limited anymore, meatball. You don't have to worry about life hurting you. It's what you give life will depend on where you're going. So if you keep giving it that authentic self and a good mood and a happy self in a place where you know you're going, I mean, life can only manifest more of that. And to me, that should take away, that took away all the stress in my life when I finally figured that out, because out of decades of adapting to my situations and just being unhappy, it took a losing everything to realize, why was I here? Because I adapted to poverty. I adapted to limitation. I adapted to failure. I got used to it. I mean, I couldn't afford cream for my coffee. I'm still drinking black coffee, even though I can go out and buy any friggin' cream I want right now, any flavor with a little gold dust in it. But I'm so used to drinking black coffee, I became adapted to it, living in that 12 by 12. This is how life works, but the point being is, well, and actually I like it better, honestly. I didn't adapt to it, I actually like it better. But getting back to what I was saying about authenticity, anybody with this monicum of success, I'm not talking about the icons, I mean, ask any of them if you can ever have a chance to see them in front of you, or email. What made you who you are? I said, I'm just being myself, authentic, and I didn't want to conform to what was going on around me. It didn't make me feel good. That's the whole point. Well, if you keep doing what you don't want, that's called 90% of the workforce out there. You keep doing what you don't want, you're going to keep manifesting that in your life. And you wonder why life's a big shit show, because you keep throwing shit at it. The same shit every day, the routine, the habits, and everything else. Yeah, I know some of us are in situations where we have to do what we have to do. I get it. And I was there, Meatball. I was doing 3-4 jobs at a clip, trying to support my kids of doing exactly what I did not want to do. But I knew I had to take care of them. And finally, later on in life, I got a chance to do what I really wanted, but I had to find it. In other words, I had to get up the courage to rewire the mind to do it. Yeah, we all want to do something in life, but if you've been so adapted to limitation and failure and not believing in yourself, that's a hard hill to climb. That's why a lot of us just stick with the 9 to 5, and they stick with doing stuff that we don't like to do. They're afraid to step out of the box. You step out of the box, you can open up a new present. It's called your new reality. Your new reality every day is what you're thinking about every day, how you're feeling about life. And if you're in a place where you don't want to be, ask anybody who has made radical changes in their life. Did it hurt? Oh, did it friggin' hurt? Did you feel better? Yeah, in the end, yeah. Yeah, you felt better in the end because of the fact you had to get through something to go to something. And indeed, as Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. That was his point. He was telling us straight out, yeah, it's going to hurt. Indeed, it's going to hurt. But if you keep going, you keep believing, you're going to create the most amazing things in your life. And out of the quote box tonight, I should just put this on my Facebook page. A quote I wrote a long time ago, but didn't get it. That's just me. Shit came out of my mouth back then. I wrote it down. I said, wow. But when you start dissecting the words, and tonight's quote is, your sole purpose is your sole purpose. Seriously, think about it. The reason why we're here is to create more of what we want in life. The problem is we've been taught we only have to do what other people tell us to do. We have to do certain things in life every day. We have to follow a certain rule. We have this. This is called adaptation. A lot of us, yes, indeed, have gotten so used to it, and that's called marriage, and that's called work, and we've gotten used to being where we don't want to be. Therefore, we're adaptation creatures. We just adapt to it. And if you really think about it, some people get used to it and they forget about what's going on in life. So it bubbles up 15 or 20 years later when they say, wait, they start evolving and thinking differently. What happened in my life? Well, that's what you weren't being your true self. And I can attest to that. I lived it and I learned from it. I hope you guys can learn from that too. I hope you guys can realize the true power that we all have. We all have the exact same power, the power of self, of being the authentic self, to put out to the world every day to watch it manifest. I spent the last several days really focusing on certain things that I wanted to bring, and they're all coming, man. Every friggin' one of them. If not the whole monicum of it, depiction of it. And in other words, a synchronicity to match it. Exactly, because I've been observing what I've been thinking about. You can start practicing that. You'll get out of that adaptation of where you are to create the life you've always wanted. And that's why we're here, to create and share that creation on a mass scale, however we do, by our energy. You change the world by changing yourself. You change your life and it'll help others because they'll be inspired by what you're doing, hence what's going on now with this revolution of conscious thinking that is fantastic. they called it New Age thinking, years ago. They laughed at Neville Goddard, called him, pseudoscience kind of thinking. But guess what everybody's doing now? They're meatball. Every friggin' one of them. And it's great because people are starting to realize, because on this National Making Life Beautiful Day, I mean, I was going to get some butterflies and release them in the atmosphere over here. But indeed, you make your life beautiful each day by how you think of it. You make your life beautiful by your perception of it. Indeed, I've said it many times here in American Mentor, but you make your life more beautiful by how authentic you are and how you approach life every day. Your way, yourself. Because doing it your way and your way only attracts the same scenarios and people and situations all to match that. And all the other shit, the morass that you normally dealt with, naturally goes away. That's the beauty about understanding your conscious thinking. That's the beauty about understanding neuroscience. Because now science and religion, indeed, as I said in John and in Romans 12, are all the same. Every friggin' one of them is the same. But your sole purpose is your sole purpose. Authentic, defined, is not false, real, and actual. There's a lot of people that are indeed following that today. And as I mentioned, those two words, remember those two words, emotional home. Where have you put your emotional home? Is it with a person? Have you given your power away? Oh shit, I have done that many times, man. I paid the friggin' price. But indeed, I learned from that. Emotional home is where you're putting your energy and sending it out every day. Your energy in motion. And think about that. The synonyms of emotional, which is what we are. We are emotional beings. Blazing, charged, glowing, passionate, intense, and religious. Yeah. Wait. Did Jerry just say that? Yeah. Religious is a synonym of emotional. It's relating to our manifesting faithful devotion to an acknowledged ultimate reality. I friggin' love this. This is what I mean. If you don't understand a word, and if you look it up, take a second on your friggin' phone, meatball. Look up a word if you don't understand it. You want to get in depth. You realize what we've been taught was, a lot of it was a farce. Emotional. Emotional was taught to us as a downfall, as weakness in life. Oh, Jerry's so emotional. Oh, bullshit. When you break the word down, it's power. It's true power in the making. It's true power of who you are, expressing it to the world. So don't let anybody ever tell you, oh, you're so emotional. Yeah, because I'm a creature, you idiot. But think about it for yourself. And coming tonight for you science people out there, Em on the Brain. Check her out on Instagram. I mean, the lady can't be more than 28 or 29. She's got her PhD in neuroscience. Fantastic. She breaks it down in the most beautiful way on authenticity. Think about this. And it'll definitely relate to your life. Authenticity is one of our greatest powers you have. It actually increases the likelihood of success. So if you're being real about what you want in life and sending it out with your emotional self every day, you're going to start creating all this stuff in your life to match that. Really think about that for yourself. He also goes on to say, living by what others want, relate to this, living by what others want is limiting your power, which creates unwanted stress in your life. How many of you can attest to that? To living with someone or living with something or having something that gives you that it's a friggin' nightmare. This is what she's talking about. It just creates stress that should not be there. It's creating all the things that you don't want when you think you're in the right place. You've adapted to it, you've tried to, but your emotional self keeps bubbling back up. Your true emotional home is your authenticity right in here. It's what you truly want. But you settled. We've parked our car in the wrong parking spot, man. And this is what she's getting at. It's starting to bubble up and get you crazy. It's not you, meatball. We just made the choice at the time. We're evolving into better beings. Living by what others want is limiting your power, which creates unwanted stress in your life. Managing others' expectations puts you into survival mode. I mean, survival is a harsh word. When you go into survival mode, fight or flight. It increases your cortisol levels. You become inflamed like a balloon. You don't even realize it. All this stress. This is what I mean. How thoughts become things. You keep thinking about where you want to be, but you're in a place where you don't want to be. You're living in that emotional home of where you don't want to be. You wonder why you're sick all the time. This is what she's getting at. It's creating from nothing into something. You keep pushing that narrative every day. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Emotional home, emotional home. You wonder why it's manifesting in your physicality because of all the situations in your life where you put yourself. That's the beauty about it. You can remove yourself. There's a lot of people out there now, and they're my friggin' heroes. I was forced into a new reality, and it was the best push. I'm like, thank you, to where I am now. I was too chicken. I couldn't do it. And I'm so grateful for what had happened to me as a result of it. You guys some of you have made the plunge and completely changed your friggin' life. Good for you, because you're only going to benefit from it. It may seem a little rocky now. You may seem like a cork just bobbing in the ocean. It's not. Because if you're living your true self, your authentic self, what you've always wanted to be, and you thought about this shit every day, it's gonna manifest. Managing others' expectations puts you in a survival mode. Living authentically activates your creativity. That little 10% part of your frontal lobe that nobody friggin' uses anymore. That's where your imagination and that's where everything's all kind of just waiting to be used. How can you use it when you're living by the 90% of your subconscious mind? Of where you don't want to be or where you've been before. You wake up and, the 60 or 70,000 thoughts are usually from the day before. You start using your frontal lobe of living this authentic self. You develop the passion. It raises your dopamine in your body. You start thinking about the most amazing things because guess what? You have clarity. And in clarity, there's power. It clears your mind. You wake up every day in a place where you want to be. I mean, the world is your oyster. There's pearls everywhere, man. They start falling from the friggin' ceiling. She goes on to say, when you start showing up as the fullest expression of who you are, that builds self-trust. Remember that. That's beautiful. Because a lot of us don't trust ourselves. A lot of us don't trust ourselves. And when you really break it down, it's how we were trained. We were told to adapt, to be limited, to accept nothing, just be a simpleton, let life shit all over you. No, we're a lot better than that. It took me a long time to realize that. It took me a long time to wake the hell up on how truly powerful I am, as indeed all of you are. When you start realizing the true power you have, you can start creating the most amazing life just by how you feel every day in your emotional home. So ask yourself, what kind of home you're living in now? I'm not talking about outside there, meatball, on the inside. What kind of emotional home are you living every day? Because from that is your energy. And it's attracting the other emotional homes to match that energy in life. So if you're not attracting what you want in life, it's because you're attracting who you are. When you realize who you are, you realize where you're going. You realize what you're bringing in life. You realize the true creation of who you are by what's coming at you. It's great because when you're living authentic, like I said on Monday's show, I think it was Monday's show. I mean, you grab your staff and you're like Moses, and the seas start parting because you start realizing that shit is getting out of your way to make a way for you to bring whatever you want to have, be, and do. Self-trust and belief is your dopamine creator. I friggin' love that. She articulates that beautifully. Think about it. You want to go to CVS? Start thinking happy. You start creating the most amazing chemicals in your body to make yourself feel better. Your immune system gets better. You get sick a lot less. I mean, really think about it, because living authentic just puts you in a happy place. So on this national, where the hell is it? Make a life beautiful day. It's your opportunity. It's your opportunity to realize the true power that you have. It's your opportunity to realize how special you are. It's your opportunity to say, wait, this is what I've always wanted to do. Why am I scared? Of course you're scared, because you're not used to it. You stepped out of the box and you're afraid to open up the new present, which is your next reality. And remember, every thought is a future reality. That's why I've been testing it this week. I've been really focusing intensely on what I want to create. And indeed, I have been creating that. because I've been observant of my conscious thinking and doing it 24/7. A lot of you guys can't do it. I get it, but if you can practice it, because with clarity, the power comes in, and guess what? Better pictures start showing up of what you truly want. Better observations of where you're going in life. And with clarity, the subconscious mind kind of goes away. It gets out of default. You want to get out of that default scenario in your life and in your thinking, because default is death, mental death in your life, because you become so habitual to hurting yourself. Really think about that for yourself. And she goes on to say, when you are unapologetic and fearlessly yourself, you align on the inside, and then the world aligns with you on the outside. Guys, if this message doesn't kick you in the ass, I'm sorry. I cannot help you. But it really grasp it for yourself. Understand all you have to do is be your authentic self as much as you can, and the outside world is going to align with that. That's why you really don't have to go crazy and, hustle and grind anymore. You really don't. Because if you're being your true self, acting accordingly, believing in that, practicing that, make that, most importantly, your emotional home, boom, there's your reality. Guys, enjoy yourself, guys. Enjoy your Wednesday. Is it Wednesday, guys? America's Mentor _ on Instagram. I hope this helped. That's some powerful shit. I need a tissue tonight, man. Gotta wipe the forehead. America's Mentor _ on Instagram. At America's Mentor on X, guys. Much love for YouTube for promoting me. So follow me. # America's Mentor on YouTube, guys. God bless. You deserve the best. We all deserve the best because we are the best. Enjoy your night, guys. I'll see you soon, man.